All right, we're going to talk today about atomic theory. You'll need to read pages 113 to 118 in your textbook and answer 1 through 4 and 6 on page 118, and make sure you submit that to me on Canvas so you can get the points for it. So the objective for this section, which the title is Atomic Theory, is understand the different models of the atomic theory. So we're just going to kind of introduce you to some ideas throughout history of the atom. Okay, so first of all, Democritus, a couple thousand years ago, came up with the idea of atoms. He said all matter in the universe was made up of atoms, and that's where we came up with that term from. So atoms are particles that make up all matter. Dalton came along, and for his atomic theory, he said that all atoms of a given element were exactly alike, and atoms of different elements could join to form compounds. His theory was a little bit different than Democritus's, because Dalton's theory, he had some evidence to back it up, so it was more believable in the scientific community. The law of definite properties, which we will do a lab over maybe this week, I'm not sure, says that a chemical compound always contains the same elements in the same proportions. So if you have carbon and oxygen in a 1-to-1 ratio, that forms a compound carbon monoxide. If you have a 1-to-2 ratio, it forms carbon dioxide. Same thing with, we know that H2O is water. Well, H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide, which is a lot different than water. So we'll deal with that a little bit later, but that's the law of definite properties. Thomson came along, and in his atomic model, he said that atoms, unlike Dalton, he said that atoms were divisible, and he discovered the electron. But he said the model of the atom was like a plum pudding model. He said that the electrons are spread evenly throughout the atom. Rutherford came along and said that most of the atom's mass is concentrated at the atom's center, and he proved this through what he called the gold foil experiment. He had a real thin sheet of gold foil, and he shot particles through the gold foil and found that most of the particles passed right through it. And so through that, he came up with the idea of atoms having a nucleus. Okay, he said the nucleus was where most of the mass was, and it was a positively charged core. So Rutherford's idea was that most of the mass was in the nucleus, and that atoms were basically mostly empty space.